we'll say live.
And we're live.
We're live, okay. Welcome to another Coffee with Will, and I have a mysterious camera holder right now. What I wanted to talk to you about in today's discussion, I'm going to have a special guest here in a minute. I want to share a story with you. Last night, well, let me start the story with this. I've been teaching classical guitar to a young boy from San Antonio, and as we were working on the guitar, he revealed to me that he was headed off to basic. And I thought, wow, he's learning how to play classical guitar, and he can't take the guitar. He said he can't take the guitar with him to basic, but he gets to take it with him on his first job, and then we could continue our lessons on Skype or FaceTime. Well, as I was teaching him, I was noticing habits that start in the beginning of any 10,000 hours, any activity, any artistic or self-development activity, where he would be playing and he would berate himself and judge himself. And I told him, I said, this is probably really good training for you. Like, a big part of that basic that you're about to go through is the mental aspect of it, the mental aspect of the judge inside of you and being pulled over to the dark side in a way and being pushed and pushed and pushed. And like, here you are, I said, at the beginning of learning how to play the guitar, and you have the opportunity to set some habits. Instead of reacting, when you play something wrong, you could learn to put some space between that judgment and how you respond to it. And then you can start widening that space. And I, of course, shared with him my experience with mindfulness and meditation, which is a practice that allows you to witness your thoughts and so that you can learn to back up. Anyway, he thought that was really helpful in going into basic. Well, then last night I stumbled upon a video of actual young people and young men and women traveling on a bus going into basic training, and it was so fascinating to me. I felt like I was along for the journey, and part of me was envious of these soldiers. Like, wow, they're coming together in this incredible activity where, as a group, as a community, they're going to learn to work together as a team in a way that they're each going to depend on each other for their lives. They're as if their lives depended on it. And then I thought, how wonderful that must be to be in a group of folks where you've got it all worked out for you, the whole system, how to be. We're talking probably 1,000 years of military technology on how to communicate the most efficiently as a group. Obviously the goal is to either defend or kill people in some cases, like very efficiently, or save people or help people. We've got I'm going to bring in somebody here that is now working for me. Not yet, but who's interning with me. And I found out that he actually was in the military for 10 years. So anyway, I had a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of envy that I never got to have that experience of being in basic training. And there's a lot in common with what artists go through in playing in bands. But I also was thinking, if everybody had that experience of the ultimate, like putting your life on the line, like being in community and being a team where your life depends on it, what would that feel like? We are so isolated now. It's everybody for themselves. Or at least that's what it feels like in a lot of ways. I shouldn't say black and white. I'm sorry. There are churches out there. There are community organizations, friend groups that get together and do aspects of what people in the military might experience. But that long term, like going through basic, which is, 10 weeks? Or how long is basic training?
It was 6 at one time.
For you, it's now 10, right?
I think it's probably more now.
Yeah. But that whole warrior training, wow, and I thought, what if our musicians did that? What if all the musicians in a band treated the music and the art as if their lives depended on it? What would the music sound like if there were no excuses given? I mean, if you're in basic training or in the Army, there's no excuses. I could be wrong, but I guess it depends on where. If you're in combat, maybe that's what I'm saying more. You're in combat. If you make an excuse, if you make an error in the details, it could cost your life or somebody else's life. Anyway, I want to go on and on about that. But what can we learn from this to bring to our lives? And think of the folks that are in basic training right now that are giving their lives for service. And if we think about that, how can we bring some of that? That's what I want to have with these talks. I want to inspire people, and I want to meet people that I know that are in these paradigms, and how can we share some of these paradigms to make our lives better, more rich for the hours that we are here. And so I was bringing it to thinking, like, how could I apply this as a leader with the musicians I work with, the music that I'm making? How could I not use excuses? Like, how many areas of my life am I using excuses? Now, of course, this is a balance. We can push ourselves to the point where we have anxiety and high blood pressure, and it goes to the other side of that. But if we examine, if we just stay aware, how many areas in your life. So I was looking at that last night, thinking, you know what, Will? You're going to get up tomorrow morning. You're going to get there early to the session with Patrick, and get things ready so everything can float easily. Then we have the rain that canceled the session. But I want to bring Patrick over here. For those of you that just tuned in, you can watch this at the beginning. There's some links in there to our shows. If you want to be a tag team member, if you're interested in what we do with charity in Austin, stringsattachedcares.org. If you'd like to come on and be interviewed in one of these Coffee with Will sessions, I'm really interested in that. But for about 18 years, I've had interns. What I've been doing is it's a great exchange between folks that want to learn something, and then I also benefit because I get some things done that might not have otherwise been done. And the way this is related to how I started this talk, again, is the idea of people working together as a team, and the sum of the parts being greater, that saying, right? So with this internship program that I've had for 18 years, I'd say about half of those 18 years, I've always had an intern or more than one intern available. And I feel extremely lucky to have this friend, this fellow brother, working with me on expanding our recordings, going in the studio and recording more music to send out to the world. And so I want to bring over Patrick, who's my new assistant intern, and he's going to sit right here. Are we in there? And see how he responds. Now, Patrick spent 10 years in the military and decided to move on to another career, follow his passions. He wasn't able to find, correct me if I'm wrong, an outlet for what you really wanted to do in the military. But did anything I say about that, the military state of mind, the process of learning to be in a tightly knit unit where you guys are, did any of that resonate? Was I right on any of that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious. And how did that feel?
Right on the money there.
Right.
It's a lot about teamwork and camaraderie, and just being able to work cohesively as a team. And that's what you're taught right when you go into basic training from day one. They kind of recondition your thought process, and you learn a lot about time management, accountability.
Wow. Accountability.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It actually changed my life.
I believe it.
Yeah,
When I saw this video, the folks coming in, it's like there's a line of demarcation. Like when the drill sergeant comes on the bus, that's the first, and I could just feel it in the room. Those young people, they were serious. They're like, we're going to make this happen. Okay. And they responded all in unison. Yes, drill sergeant, and they begin to learn the whole process, like you said, the default mode. And it was like goosebumps. I mean, I was just like, in a way, I want to be doing that. That's awesome. That's so cool to be tested, to have somebody in your face, screaming at you or whatever, and knowing that, again, it's like a meditation. Like that's actually an illusion. If somebody's screaming at you, could ignore it, or you could, but then at the same time, if you start smiling, they'll notice that.
Right.
So it's like this level of focus, of being in the present that you're being called into. It's similar to performing, except you've got a guy there, holding you accountable at every second. Down now, I want straight back, and
Yeah.
it was like
He's
this
putting
Washington.
he's
Loved
putting you
it.
under pressure.
I loved
to
it.
see how you
Yeah.
can handle that pressure.
And then some people, for me, I was thinking like, oh, that would be awesome. I'd so loved it.
Yeah.
You push like that, it would feel amazing, but other people would collapse under that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Some people did.
Yeah, even in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you handle it? I mean, was that like that when you rolled in there the first day? Do you remember? Yeah, tell me what you remember. Like that when you rolled in there, like the old Patrick was disappearing. That's what they make that clear. You are being erased for the next 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, yep. Well, my dad was in the military, so he kind of gave me a little insight on how to kind of, play the game and do what you're told, pay attention to detail, and you'll be fine.
Right.
And just got to learn how to work under pressure, and it's a shock. I'm not gonna lie.
How old were you when you went in?
I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah. So, very young. So
I love it.
I'd already dropped out of college, had no direction, so this was like, perfect for me. So, and then right out of basic, then they send you to school, and then you start doing your, academic training. I did aircraft electrical work, and so you start learning about electronics and aircraft systems.
So is there something from the basic that where you felt like it was a real turning point for you in that process? Like, was it a physical thing, staying out all night, or do you remember a real quick story? Anybody bring to mind right now? This was over 25 years ago.
Oh yeah. Long time ago.
I want to hear the good. I want to hear some of the good stuff. I want to, if you wouldn't mind sharing. If you don't want to, that's
well.
fine.
I mean, let's see. We ran a lot. We did a lot of marching.
Okay.
I would say right around the maybe 4th week. Because you can't get anything right up until
just
like
no way.
There's just no way because you've got to get all the procedures and processes down. But right around the 4th week, out of week or 6 weeks, right around the 4th week, we just synced up.
The whole group.
I
love it.
And it was like 30 people.
Did it feel good?
Yeah. Oh, it felt great.
It was like ecstatic. Almost.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And everyone had their own details to do, and it was just one giant team.
So good.
And it was great. And then we got rewarded. They started slacking off, and the drill instructors started showing up lesser and lesser because you were running it.
Yeah.
And then one of us, got put in charge, and then they divided the structure, so it was all ranking structure within our group, and we pretty much handled our own.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I like to say there's a similar feeling with certain casts of musicians that I like to work with. When we're together on stage, and stage is a sort of battle in a way because you're battling your mental stuff, and you're battling. Maybe you're not battling, but there's a game to it. Let's put it that way. But if you have your A team players there, the folks that you have worked with over the years, it's very comfortable, and so you take more risks, or you feel risky, or you disappear more into the moment. Your ego has the opportunity. There's the opportunity for your ego to fall away in those live situations with certain band. But then a lot of people don't understand this. Why I or other musicians don't like playing a lot of gigs with pickup players. It's fine, we can do it, and we can throw a band together of great musicians, but it's musically not going to be as pleasing when it's just a mix of people that haven't played together. Usually, now that if it's a smaller group, a trio, and that may be the case in the military. You could fly to military base as long as they were trained, and there's a certain common knowledge, right?
Right.
Being able to be in sync. That's the point of it.
Yeah.
And that's what musicians are taught.
You bring your team with you, and that's what we did when we went deployed places. We always had a team of people to work on aircraft that knew that aircraft.
Oh, wow.
You could bring in other people, but exactly like you said, you may not get the results.
Right.
that you're looking
and it's
for.
not as seamless, and there's just like, there's less anxiety because you can count on that keyboard player, that bass player who knows what to do.
Yeah.
So I have a gig coming up this weekend that's like that, where it's just a bunch of different people I haven't played together before, and it's just not as much fun because it's going to be a little on the edge. There isn't that familiarity. I like familiarity. I like people that have a certain amount of the known, especially when lives are at stake or when art's at stake.
Right.
So thanks for coming on the camera. And how have you enjoyed the internship so far? This might be good.
I love it.
You love it?
I love it. This is great.
What are some of the high points?
I love working with you as a
Thanks.
musician. You're a brilliant musician, and I love recording pretty much any instrument that you're playing. So, and I'm hoping that I can, use the software to the best of my ability to capture, your essence. That
Thanks.
to me is right there. That's why I'm here.
Cool.
So,
Thanks, Patrick. Patrick's got to go
Okay.
to an appointment, so take care.
all right.
I'll see you soon, Patrick.
Yes.
Thanks
Okay.
a lot. Okay, guys, so we're live this Friday are we still on? We're live this Friday of Songs of Billy Joel at the Townsend. 2 shows, 7 and 9:30. And there's a lot of links in the description here if you want to become a tag team member. That's somebody that will say, hey, go ahead and tag me in posts and videos and things like that from time to time. I want to help out. I want to help get the word out about Strings Attached, stringsattachedcares.org. We go visit the Helping Home for Children every Thursday, where I teach basic guitar lessons. And thanks to one of my patrons for setting that up. That's every Thursday. Your donations help that program, as well as our visit to Legacy Oaks Assisted Living Care every Friday, where we play for folks in their 80s, 90s, and 100s. And it's so great bringing community to those folks. So I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear ideas about people to interview, or topics to talk about. And I am off to have a lunch break. Thanks for watching. Tune in again. Will Taylor and Strings Attached, stringsattached.org for all our shows. Thanks for watching.